Hi, I'm here to give my presentation on the book, The Reading Comprehension Blueprint, Helping Students Make Meaning from Text by Nancy Lewis Hennessy. Ms. Hennessy, is an experienced teacher, administrator, and currently a literacy consultant. She's got a lot of experience and a wide range of that, which includes leading in the development of curriculum. Also, that went on to lead to training programs for teachers. And what's most impressive is the kind of training that she does. Some of the professional development on reading she's done for the AIM Institute of Learning and Research. While she's written this book and the accompanying workbook, those were written independently. She's also authored Chapter 15 of Working with Word Meaning, Vocabulary Instruction in Multisensory Teaching of Basic Language Skills. And that was in the 4th edition. Her work also includes co-authoring the second revision of Module 6 of Letters, Digging for Meaning, and Teaching Text Comprehension. So she's got a wide range of experience, both in the classroom and in working with teachers and as an administrator. And she also has a lot of experience working with kids with reading difficulties, and namely dyslexia. The purpose of the book is to give teachers a way to organize and scaffold their preparation of different types of text and for different purposes, meaning that it can go across curriculum. It can be a short text, it can be a long text. Either way, the blueprint she gives us is something that we can use for teaching comprehension through any of those. The blueprint that she gives us is a process of questioning that a teacher can walk through with students. And then eventually it would be scaffolded so that eventually students could learn to do that independently as their skills build. The steps are based on several strands of the language comprehension portion of Scarborough's rope, but it also ties in with the cognitive portion, and she talks about how that process has to happen simultaneously, and all these things come together at one time. And that as those students work on those skills to make them stronger, each of the pieces kind of come together naturally until they are a proficient reader. Hennessy describes the blueprint, and each component that she goes through is for reading comprehension, vocabulary, syntax and sentence comprehension, text structures, background knowledge, and understanding and inference. And in each of those components, she connects the blueprint for that component to the classroom. You can tell that her experience being in the classroom, she knows where some of the downfalls may be with students and where some of the disconnects may be, and she addresses those. She explains each of the basic understandings of each component, and then also as far as the when and where to use those strategies. She kind of explains that it depends on the class, but that she gives you options and ways of monitoring for understanding. So with each child being different, it's kind of hard to say that there's a one way to do it every time. You kind of have to monitor and adjust, as most teachers do. There's also a section dedicated to adapting to individual student needs, which offers ways to strengthen skills if you find that through monitoring your students' comprehension that maybe some of the skills are lacking. The things that stand out to me, the first thing was that I love where Hennessy points to the semantic feature analysis. I found that it's sometimes hard to explain to students why authors choose certain words over others. We can talk about how some words are similar, but to really draw out or really first you have to kind of compare the two words or other words that are similar, and then you can kind of go through and decipher why one is different from the other, and that a lot of times helps clarify word choice, whether it's by an author or if you're trying to work on writing and you're wanting students to expand the vocabulary that they use in their writing. I feel like that opens up some of that conversation to be able to do that. So with that section, it's beneficial to students both as readers and writers, and having them think carefully and critically about the word choice strengthens their understanding overall, and it strengthens their vocabulary even more as they start to see the comparisons and the differences. The other thing that stood out to me was where she addressed how grammar's connection with reading is so important. I feel like less emphasis is put on grammar anymore, with time being allotted more to things that are generally tested more, as far as like getting the writing done and other content areas. It seems like some of the students who struggle the most and need it the most often don't get it. Or if they do, they don't transfer that knowledge of how grammar works into their reading and understanding what they read. This is particularly true with ELL students. I find that sometimes we have to go over text features quite a bit to discuss what an author means when words are put in a certain order, and how that changes the meaning of what they might have understood or not understood at all. So understanding the structure of grammar remains key in understanding a wide range of literature. The third thing that stands out to me is the intentional and explicit instruction for teaching inference. I found that many students struggle with inference, even students that are considered pretty good readers. And those who have less experiences to draw from struggle with it the most. I see that some students, although they may have those experiences, drawing those out and making the connections is somewhere where the gap is, or understanding what exactly kind of question is being asked of them. I feel like them knowing how to use the knowledge they have to infer in their reading, and not feeling like there's just guessing at why a character does a certain thing or says a certain thing in a story, sometimes is hard. So I think the activities that she included in the book would help them understand the thought process that we go through when we are trying to infer something in a story, and kind of give them some confidence in their answers, and for some answers just make it more logistical rather than just guessing. As far as the book, I highly recommend it for anybody that teaches really any grade. I think a lot of it's beneficial knowing how reading works, even in the very, very early elementary years as they're being read to. A lot of the concepts are the same as things like the think alouds and things like that you do with kids. Me being in middle school now, I see so much benefit with this, especially for struggling learners. And I personally am going to keep the book as a resource even beyond this class. And that's my presentation. Thank you.